Fort Portal, with its cool weather, abundance of food, friendly people, and proximity to tourist attractions, is special. The city sits on 128.2 square kilometers. However, this sleepy city, which is an ideal weekend getaway, needs special care to live up to its ambitious title as a tourism city.
If you're to go and see the budget of the Uganda tourism and antiquities, Fort Portal is not mentioned anywhere. It's not mentioned, and yet it should be a baby of the Minister of Tourism.
The creation of a tourism city came with a lot of expectations for people in that sector. But if you really had any doubts that the creation of cities was really unplanned for, all you have to do is look at Fort Portal. The tourism city is limping under the burden of bad roads and poor garbage collection. Fort Portal was at one time named the second cleanest city in Uganda. But downtown, just one street away from the city center, residents and business people grapple with a broken service delivery system.
Tubanzorole mama mbere tukukora. Ensita tusamiri kukora muitaka. Kubenzule egwa hanu nogamba lini Kamero Oriente. Hakiro ofunda kwikara mu Kamero Oriente kano manyenta noginywa amata baitu hanu mbere tukukora. Ibanzorole mbera ambe mama. Sita takabire kukora busi. Bagihe myaka endi 5 kyali kitakabe no kuba kyasita.
Letu basaba ubabasobolwa ubabandaba bongere muko kumanyi mukora. Banga kasasule mungi mu town.
The main taxi park, which is also the city's business hub, is not tarmacked. Clovis Kalenzi, the senior assistant town clerk, who also doubles as the spokesperson of Fort Portal City Council, says nothing much has changed since Fort Portal became a tourism city.
I hope you are aware that central government has not assisted us so much in terms of revenue. We are still operating more or less a municipal budget. And we are only able to do what we can within our limited means. But there was a lot expected in terms of expansion of the road network, extension of electricity, extension of pipe to water, improvement in the schools and health units. Unfortunately, we haven't done much in those areas.
As the last mayor of Fort Portal municipality, Reverend Willie Chintu Muhanga received the instruments of Fort Portal City. He says his expectations of a tourism city have not been met.
When I was in the office, I had an opportunity to talk with the Minister of Finance, the Honorable Matia Kasaija. Frankly, he told us that these cities were not planned and they were not budgeted for.
The tourism city receives a meager 12 billion shillings per year from government. Of this, 11 billion shillings is a conditional grant from the Uganda Support to Municipality Infrastructure Development Program, or USMID. The city has no governing policies or bylaws, no administrative structure, and no service commission or other statutory bodies. Fort Portal City collects local revenue of 200 million shillings per month. Local revenue is collected by Uganda Revenue Authority and channeled directly to the Treasury. The city then has to request for the money from the Ministry of Finance.
That shouldn't happen because it defeats the spirit of decentralization. Under the decentralization arrangement, we are supposed to manage our own revenue.
Paul Drake Kasande, the chairperson of the private sector in Rwenzori region, argues that the growth of Fort Portal City will not depend on government funds, but on the input of private investors.
Private sector contributes to revenue, which in turn supports government. Private sector creates to employment. So to me, my focus mostly is how the private sector can grow so that it can be able to support the city.
The business community, though, is calling out the city council on the increasing rents and local taxes, which do not tally with service delivery.
License Vaseline, they are too much, as in they are too much. Someone who was paying like 200 now is 450. And we don't see the reason why we are paying that money, because the services are not given us back to us.
On whether the creation of a tourism city could have waited, Muhanga says the city is more of a political city than a real one.
The president should also be seen on ground because he advocated for this city, seriously. But we want now to let him know that the city he gave us is just a city by name. In Rutoro here we call it City Vyoya Byanswa.
We are already a city and we cannot go outside this. We plan and we have planned. We shall deliver at some point.
But me, I'm a visionary, I'm looking for, and I also believe that a city with all its infrastructure, with all its benefits, will not be created in a day, in a year, or in 2 years. It's a process.
Although the City Council is still operating in the Municipal Council building, which was built in 1954, their priority is to make Fort Portal City green and clean. Of course, this ambitious plan is subject to the provision of government funds. Gillian Nantume, NTV Tonight.